What's up? What's good? What's popping? What's cracking? What's percolating? What's really good in the hood? It's your man D.O.B. And y'all know we going hard in the paint for getting T'Challa recast. Well, this is my first time editing, producing a movie or something like that. So I apologize. But what I'm getting ready to show you right now, I'm hoping you receive it for what it is, and I hope you understand it for what it is. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Chadwick Boseman, Derrick Boseman.
I was on a roll when I entered the system of entertainment, theater, television, and film. In my first New York audition for a professional play, I landed the lead role. From that play, I got my first agent. From that agent, I got an on-screen audition. It was a soap opera. It wasn't Third Watch. It was a soap opera on a major network. I scored that role too. I felt like Mike Tyson when he first came on the scene, knocking out opponents in the first round. With this soap opera gig, I was already promised to make six figures, more money than I had ever seen. I was feeling myself. But once I got the first script, and with soap operas, you very often get the script the night before and you shoot the whole episode in one day with little to no time to prepare. Once I saw the role I was playing, I found myself conflicted. The role wasn't necessarily stereotypical. A young man in his formative years with a violent streak pulled into the allure of gang involvement. That's somebody's real story. Never judge the characters you play. That's what we were always taught. That's the first rule of acting. And any role play, honestly, can be empowering. But I was conflicted because this role seemed to be wrapped up in assumptions about us as Black folk. The writing failed to search for specificity. Plus, there was barely a glimpse of positivity or talent in the character, barely a glimpse of hope. I would have to make something out of nothing. I was conflicted. Howard had instilled in me a certain amount of pride, and for my taste, this role didn't live up to those standards. It was just my luck that after filming the first two episodes, execs of the show called me into their offices and told me how happy they were with my performance. They wanted me to be around for a long time. They said, if there was anything that I needed, just let them know. That was my opening. I decided to ask them some simple questions about the background of my character, questions that I felt were pertinent to the plot. Question number one, where's my father? The exec answered, well, he left when you were younger. Of course. Okay. Question number two, in this script, it alluded to my mother not being equipped to operate as a good parent. So why exactly would my little brother and I have to go into foster care? Matter of factly, he answered, well, of course, she's on heroin. That could be real, I guess. But I didn't want to assume that's what it was. If we're around here assuming that the Black characters in the show are criminals, on drugs and deadbeat parents, then that would probably be stereotypical, wouldn't it? That word stereotypical lingered. One of the execs pulled out my resume and began studying it. The other exec wore a smile, trying to live up to what they had promised me only a few moments before. If there's anything you need, just let us know. She said, as you have seen, things move really fast around here. But we are more than happy to connect you with the writers if you have suggestions. Yeah, I said, that would be great. I said, because I'm just trying to do my homework on this. I didn't know if you guys had decided on all the facts, but maybe there's some things we could come up with, some talent or gift that we can build. Maybe he's really good at math or something. He has to be active. I'm doing my best not to play this character like a victim. So you went to Howard University, huh? The exec holding my resume interrupted, peeking over the pages. Yes, I said proudly. He slid my resume back in his desk and said, thank you for your concerns. We'll be watching you. I left the office. I shot the episode I had come in to shoot on that day. Probably the best one I did out of the 3 because I got what was bothering me off my chest. I was let go from that job on the next day. Phone call from my agent. They decided to go another way. The questions that I asked set the producers on guard and perhaps paved the way for a less stereotypical portrayal for the Black actor that stepped into the role after me. As the scripture says, I planted the seed and Apollos watered it. But God kept growing. God kept it growing. Yet and still, when you invest in a seed, watching it grow without you, that is a bitter pill to swallow. A bitter pill. Anybody that's ever been fired knows what I'm talking about. Even if you really don't want the job, when they let you go, it's like any breakup. You act like you don't care. I didn't need that damn job anyway. I didn't need them. But when you have those moments alone, you start to wonder if there was a better way to handle it. And if you could have handled it better, maybe you could help your family. And then before you know it, you're broke. And you find yourself scraping together change just so you can ride the subway so that you can get the next job. And maybe if you could book something else, that would eclipse the feeling of doubt that's building. But it seems like you can't pay them to hire you now. My agents at the time told me it might be a while before I got a job acting on screen again. But that was fine because I never wanted to act in the first place. And I definitely didn't want to be caught dead going after a fake Hollywood pipe dream. I'm more of a writer-director anyway, so forget their stories. I can tell my own stories. As conflicted as I was before I lost the job, as adamant as I was about the need to speak truth to power, I found myself even more conflicted afterwards. Sometimes you need to get knocked down before you can really figure out what your fight is and how you need to fight it. At some point, my mind reverted back to my experiences here, to the professors that challenged me and struggled against me. Finally, I thought of Ali in the middle of the yard, in his elder years, drawing from his victories and his losses. At that moment, I realized something new about the greatness of Ali and how he carried his crown. I realized that he was transferring something to me on that day. He was transferring the spirit of the fighter to me. Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose that God predestined inside of you. God says in Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Hear me well on this day. When you have reached the hilltop and you are deciding on next jobs, next steps, careers, further education, you would rather find purpose than a job or a career. Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. When I dare to challenge the system that would relegate us to victims and stereotypes with no clear historical backgrounds, no hopes or talents, when I questioned that method of portrayal, a different path opened up for me. The path to my destiny. When God has something for you, it doesn't matter who stands against it. God will move someone that's holding you back away from a door and put someone there who will open it for you. If it's meant for you, I don't know what your future is, but if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Now, this is your time. The light of new realization shines on you today. Howard's legacy is not wrapped up in the money that you will make, but the challenges that you choose to confront. As you commit to your past, press on with pride and press on with purpose. God bless you. I love you, Howard. Howard forever.
Black Panther 2. I can't tell you how many of my friends wanted to tell me to ask this question. I because I'm a big fan as well. What would he want Black Panther 2 to be like?
I can't answer that.
What would you want it to be like? I can't come here and ask a Black Panther question. No, I'm joking, Derrick. No, I get it.
I mean, I would want him to be in it. I would want him to continue
Obviously,
to be
yeah.
King T'Challa. Now, I can answer what you aren't asking me.
Okay, what's that question?
I see a narrative being assembled by Hollywood. And I could be completely wrong, but a black man being a king does not fit the narrative of.
As my man Ice Cube said back in the day, this is what they think about you.
To acknowledge the devastating loss of a dear friend and member of the Marvel Studios family. Chadwick Boseman was an immensely talented actor and an inspirational individual who affected all of our lives professionally and personally. His portrayal of T'Challa the Black Panther is iconic and transcends any iteration of the character in any other medium from Marvel's past. And it's for that reason that we will not recast the character. However, to honor the legacy that Chad helped us build through his portrayal of the King of Wakanda, we want to continue to explore the world of Wakanda and all of the rich and varied characters introduced in the first film. Writer-director Ryan Coogler is hard at work on the sequel now and will bring the film to you in theaters July 8th, 2022.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is confirmed as the title for the second Black Panther film coming in next year, giving us our first insight into how director Ryan Coogler will address the loss of Chadwick Boseman. So who will be the next Black Panther, we're now asking? Well, this is Inside Marvel. I'm Eric Voss. I'm here with MT. What was your reaction to seeing that title reveal, MT?
Oh man, I screamed. I was like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting this, but like, yeah, it was, I'm so excited to finally get to see how Marvel Studios is going to handle such a loss, a massive loss to not only just the MCU, but acting in general. Like Chadwick Boseman was a force. So yeah, I'm hyped. Like, how did you feel?
Oh, I mean, you could see my reaction.
Oh, yeah,
that was,
I saw your reaction.
I mean, I was blown away. That should have been like the main headline coming out of that. So they should have just titled the whole reel. This is it's a whole separate video just from Marvel. Like, this is our, because that is the headline for me. So here's the deal, folks. In these weeks leading up to Loki, MT and I are going to be here every Friday doing a sort of MCU Phase 4 preview, and we're going to do our best to answer your biggest questions coming about the next big upcoming Marvel titles. And yeah, this week, really the biggest news came from that. Marvel celebrates the movie sizzle reel, revealing Black Panther 2's title is gonna be Wakanda Forever. Wakanda Forever, such a great title. And in our gratitude and our excitement and our enjoyment of this, we're gonna ask a special WTF, Wakanda the but this isn't a cynical WTF. Oh, no. This is like a, oh my god, WTF with Wakanda the fuck,
Like, we're getting Wakanda Forever? What?
Forever. So yeah, MT and I actually have some theories about Wakanda Forever and what that might mean, what they're actually telling us about who the next Black Panther is going to be. But before we continue, we want to say over at newrockstarsmerch.com, we are doing a special week of May the 4th Star Wars inspired shirts. We actually still have some of our Zemo Puppet Master design left. Those are going quick. But yeah, you got to check out these Star Wars designs. Go over to newrockstarsmerch.com, and there you can find all the other cool merch options we have, like this goofy Hi, I'm Eric Voss shirt that we sell, even though there's probably maybe 6 Eric Vosses out there, and none of them are fans of me.
We're all Eric Voss on the inside if we believe hard enough.
Yep. All right, MT, let's dive right into it.
Our first Wakanda the of the day is Wakanda the Does the title Wakanda Forever tell us about who will be the next Black Panther, Eric?
Yes, great question. Now, first things first, it has been confirmed that Marvel Studios does not plan to recast the role of T'Challa, and they're not going to use VFX to weirdly animate the character the way Star Wars did with Carrie Fisher, right? So neither of those options are happening. Now, a lot of people did want there to be a recasting. I disagreed with that move, and so did Ryan Coogler and Kevin Feige and Chadwick Boseman's family. They all felt that the best way to honor Boseman's legacy was to not erase his performance by casting a new T'Challa and not put this impossible burden on whoever that new actor would be to live up to that expectations, to those standards. I'm sorry, that's just not the way we should go. Instead, it seems like Coogler's taken the path of embracing the message of his first film, of sharing power, sharing responsibility among all Wakandans to carry that legacy with all the heroes that T'Challa inspired in the world. Because, yeah, this was never about one person. It was about the family, the tribe, the nation, the world. Right, MT?
Yes. Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's like Black Panther, it's not always about Black Panther. It's all about the story of Wakanda. And that's what makes the Black Panther character so interesting. Right. So having this Wakanda...
Today, I'm serving up a Wakandan blend of tea, a whole pot of it about Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. All the rumors in one place that I've been able to confirm via my sources. You're going to get a pretty good look at what the movie's going to be. I'm very excited. It sounds excellent. So yes, as I myself confirmed way back in April 2020, it's going to be Black Panther versus Namor. There was, after all, the Namor tease in Endgame about an underwater earthquake, which the writers did confirm after the movie's release was indeed a tease about Atlantis. And originally, I'd heard that the clash was going to come about because of some bad blood between the two royal families due to family history. But now, of course, with the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman, it's going to be Wakanda versus Atlantis because Wakanda will be vulnerable as they currently don't have a Black Panther. And they're in the middle of trying to decide who will take on the mantle as well as rule Wakanda. That's right, Wakanda will have not only no champion, but no ruler when the sequel kicks off, which will indeed make them very vulnerable. I think the stakes will be high. I love it! Now, wasn't the process of anointing the next Black Panther already detailed in the first film? Well, perhaps with no more sons in play, no male heirs, there will be a discussion in Wakanda as to whether or not Shuri, a woman, can assume the mantle. I thought Ryan Coogler did a wonderful job with his female supporting cast in the first movie and the importance of women in the Black community. So he might want to go there. And I totally trust Ryan Coogler, by the way, to do anything. I think he can handle any hurdle. I think he can handle any difficult subject matter. I think he's a really talented filmmaker. So that could be interesting. Last my sources heard, Shuri does become the new Black Panther at the end of the movie, but Letitia Wright's anti-vax tweets about the COVID vaccine and a couple of other unfortunate details about that whole thing might have jeopardized that. So I don't think that's set in stone. There are a couple things still in flux about the film, even though cameras are rolling right now, or just on the cusp of rolling. Now, of course, a huge question will be, what happened to T'Challa in the world of the MCU? Why do we need a new Black Panther? I know many of you don't want to see T'Challa recast, but I told you that's what they were going to do, and Kevin Feige confirmed that at the last Disney Investor Day back in December, so it's happening. So I'm hearing that right now Marvel is debating as to whether or not T'Challa should be killed on or off screen. So stop having the conversation as to whether or not he should be killed off or recast. He's being killed off. The new valid debate is to how that should happen. So either